Hey everybody, we're hanging out under the ramp truck today. Sitting here by the driver's side fuel tank. Kind of want to show you the problem we're dealing with. So, turn the camera around. There's the gas tank. That's the door that somebody welded in for access to the fuel filler. And if you notice, that's where the gas goes in to the tank. That's where the fuel filler should be if we extended this out. Problem is it's basically maybe level, slightly downhill. If you wanted to do this properly, you would need this to go up like that. And we're gonna come into conflict. This cross brace is probably why they didn't move this door up any higher. And then into the actual deck itself. So what I'm thinking about doing is actually flipping this around, and we're gonna have this fuel filler neck come out on top of the deck over there. That way I can access the fuel filler from up there on the deck. Much easier to reach. We shouldn't have a flow problem because it'll come downhill all the way to the tank. That still doesn't solve the problem with the passenger side, which is way over there. But I think what I may be able to do is on the other side, come out of the gas tank, run between these two rails, and then come up in the middle of the truck so I get an incline, come out between these two rails, and then come out and put that filler neck right on top of the other one so that I can fill both tanks from the same side of the truck, because this thing really doesn't turn around all that well, so I don't want to have to move it around in a gas station. I like to pull it up the gas pump one side, fill both tanks, and that would be awesome. So our project for today is probably just to kind of start mocking that up, see if we can figure that out so that I can fill both sides of this truck from one side. All right, let's get to it. Now you may be wondering to yourself, how in the world did that happen? How did they get the fuel doors so wrong? Well, here's what I think happened. This is actually the original access panel for the fuel filler. They've welded it shut, but there's a hinge there. This opened up, and that's where they fueled from. And if you look underneath, somebody just cut the filler hoses off, but that's where the original fuel filler was. So, interesting. Now, the problem with that though is, if you're actually hauling something on the bed of the trailer, you can't get that open. There's a possibility you can't get that open. So I can kind of see why they wanted to move it. They just did a really crappy job of moving it because they're just not high enough. So that's where we're at. Now we just have to fix it.
Now I break out the grinder. So next step is I gotta cut this box down to size. We're using an old ammo box. I'm basically gonna take and put the filler necks in it to protect it from the elements, but I gotta cut the bottom off so the pipes have somewhere to go. So that's the next step, is to get this thing measured and cut down. So I've cut the bottom of the box out, just out of the piece we cut off the bottom of the box, basically. What we're going to do with it is I'm going to drill some holes in it so the filler necks can go into it. And then it's going to sit down inside the box, not like that, like that, down inside the box so the filler necks can come out the top, screws, caps on. We're going to close this and it'll be basically weather tight. But I got to drill some holes in this. We're going to put some holes in the corners and stuff just to help in case any water or gas gets in here, it can drain out. And then we got to weld it in. So let's keep going. So guys, after a quick trip to the hardware store and a little bit more fiddling, this is what we come up with. Got 2 filler necks into the ammo box. That's the driver's side pipe coming out. I've got to get this in the truck and figure out the angle for the passenger side. So now I got to go home and cut a giant big hole in the front of the ramp, but it should be pretty decent. I'm gonna clean this all up, get the stickers off, probably just flat black it, satin black it, see how we're gonna mount it in the truck. But for right now, I think this is gonna work. So next step in getting this fuel filler box in is to get this thing out of the way. I don't plan on using them. There's one on each side, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut them off. And if anybody wants them, let me know. But yeah, these got to come out and get off the ramp, out of the way. I've got my box measured up and drawn out, so now it's time to make the first incision. So we're pretty much in the finishing stages of our fuel filler box that we're working on. So this is pretty much the box as it sits right now. I've just got a flat black paint on it, got a flange on the bottom of it to mount to the ramp. Just got the one filler neck extended right now just for the driver's side. So I got a couple more holes I got to drill in the flange, and then we can just go ahead and mount it to the truck and be done with that stage of the process. All right, I've transferred the holes we drilled, marked them on the truck. So now it's just a matter of getting these drilled out, and then we can get it mounted. Faster. I'm actually pretty happy with myself there. I got it on. So as you can see, I'd kind of hoard hardware. I've actually got a lot more than this at the shop. This is what I've got here at the house. And I found me 4 nuts, and I found 3 bolts that I like. If anybody's curious, these are actually oil pan bolts for a Mazda Protege. The reason I know that is because I've got RTV on the ends of them. So I just need one more. And I know there's one here. Mazdas have a lot of oil pan bolts. And I know that I don't only have 3. Aha! 4. Alright, so now I gotta put all this back in there. Get this thing mounted. Ugh. All right, it's in. I'm sorry it got dark on me. My time management skills this weekend have been not great, but there's the bottom of it right now. I don't have a nut over there because that brace is in the way. I'm gonna end up having to cut that brace out anyway to run the passenger side pipe across. So that's the underneath right now. It's bolted in. I might come and actually tack weld the nuts in so they're captured, and then I can just put the bolts in from the top and not have to crawl under here and hold it. But for now, I think it's gonna work. Let's see the outside. So here she is. I have to pull her back off and bolt that, sand that, and repaint the ramp. So that's gonna happen at some point, but that's it. She's on the truck. Sorry it got dark, guys. So that's pretty much it for this weekend. And moving on, I'm gonna finish hooking those up and at least get the fuel filler lines completely done up. That'll be in the next video, and also we'll finish the brakes up. So thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you in a week or two.